This is Talk is Sheep, the official podcast of the Wild Sheep Society of BC, brought to you by Sitka Gear. Come along as we bring conversations that matter to you into the high alpine. Mr. Gregory Rensmeg, handsome as ever, and here we are again, spending our evenings chatting on a screen. It's always a good time to chat with you.
Absolutely, buddy. I love that you're starting to grow into your beard.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, I did get rid of it, and then I was instructed, no, that's not good. So get a happy wife, happy life. So it's back, and loving it. It's timely for the winter time, and I'm gonna blend in when I'm out deer hunting this fall. So.
Well, there you go. It adds extra warmth. You don't need the face covering. You're good. Wind burn. Rock the beard. So this was a kind of a fun chat. We had Mr. Kyle Crawford on. He's got his little YouTube channel, Into the Deep, where he doesn't advertise it. He shares his hunts, and I'm actually a fan of it because it's honest. There's no hiding. He just shows his trips and 10-minute clips, and kind of they're enjoyable. And he submitted one of those to us last year for the Media Awards, and he won Film of the Year. So congratulations to him on that. And, that's a segue into, we want more submissions for Film of the Year. We need Photographers of the Year in the youth category and the adult category. And we want writers. We want your submissions, and we want you guys to win. The more you submit, hey, we got better chances.
Yeah, and there is a limit, actually, because we used to get like 50 photos, and then our judges were not happy. But, it's really cool. This media festival, this will be our third annual. It's kind of grown now. I love the aspect of it that it is... it's an opportunity for people to get involved, to share their stories. We got the youth component, and maybe there's some nepotism here. Your son won last year, so no. Just to be completely clear, this is done by a blind panel. We send we get rid of whose submissions they are. You can see on the website who our judges are. Very talented individuals in their own right, and who make the decisions on this. And Connor did win the youth Photographer of the Year last year, and again, two beautiful photos. Was it the grizzly bear photo that won?
Yeah, I believe so. He had a really good photo of a grizzly from when he was bear hunting with his grandpa. So, yeah. I was surprised when he won too. I had no idea. I wasn't on the panel. You guys kept it secret from me. I would have brought him to the show if I had known, but I was like, no, I'll be busy working because I'm a director now, and man, kick myself.
Yeah, very cool. I guess we should have briefed you on it, but yeah, we're trying to, do it all the right way. And but yeah, it was really cool. So anyone that's interested, you have to be a member. So that's the catch. If you're not a member, but if you're not a member, you can fix that pretty easily. It'll cost you $55, and then submit your stuff. The only thing is, if you're a professional, if you're doing it for a living, so if you're a professional photographer, then I think you're excluded from it, or a filmmaker. But that said, if you happen to derive some of your income from it, you sell a few prints here and there, that's fine. Danny Coyne was our Photographer of the Year. Was it last year or 2 years ago? And now he's one of our Wild Sheep ambassadors. Our judging team said, "Hey, this guy's phenomenal. Let's see if he'll join as an ambassador." Danny's a heavyweight on the conservation side of things, and obviously a great photographer. So, like you said, there's the 4 categories, Greg. Great opportunity to share your messaging. We most likely will run your photo, if you're the winner, as the cover photo for the magazine. Certainly if it's a sheep, odds are pretty good. We're going to debut your film. We're sharing the film. Obviously, Kyle's won this film award. Some very cool prizes. It's sponsored by our official sponsor, Sitka Gear, as well as Stone Glacier, a conservation partner. So you're going to win some swag. You're going to get bragging rights, and we're going to share your stuff out. And it's just a cool program. Deadlines for submission, what are they, Greg? Do you remember the dates? It's I think it's December 20th. So you've got 2 months to do it. There's no limit. There's no specifications. It doesn't have to be a sheep. You can submit anything you want. Outdoor is sort of what we're looking for, wildlife, but there's no restrictions on it. So lots of opportunity to get involved, and we'd love to have your submissions and some cool prizes and bragging rights.
Yeah, and if you're not a member and you want to submit and you get your membership, we got something cool going on right now. We do have a membership drive that, you might win a chance to go on a mouflon hunt. Well, that's not a bad gig. Enter your media and, go mouflon hunting.
Yeah. So, that promotion's on till November 25th. We're going to draw the winner at our Women's Shipping Conservation event in Richmond, and great opportunity to join the society. We're giving away 3 prizes. There's a taxidermy credit, and there's also a pair of Schnee's boots, and 3 full donations from our generous partners on those. And so just a great opportunity to get involved, learn a little bit what we do. It's because of our members that we can do this podcast. So you're going to support this podcast if you're a regular listener. So love to have you sign up as a member, and somebody's going to win some cool prizes. And just like anything else, if you're a regular member, Upgrade to Life or Monarch, you can get more chances to win. So Women's Shipping Conservation event. Greg, let's talk about that.
Yeah, so that's happening, like you said, on November 25th when we're going to draw that mouflon hunt. We've got a film premiere from the Women's Shaping Conservation Committee and the Women Hunt from the Wild Sheep Foundation. They've got a film, was it Beyond Bonds, that's going to be airing?
You betcha.
Yeah, and then, I got the name wrong before, so let's not get mad at me.
Hey, I've done that too. We did the bait and switch on it, actually. We did change the name. So
yeah. So that's going on. We'll be doing a live podcast on stage with Gray Thornton, Renee Thornton, the Women Hunt Chair, Rebecca Peters, the Women Shaping Conservation Chair, and we'll be dead center on stage front after the film premiere, and you can look at us and listen to us chat live.
Yeah, awesome. Rachel Attila is going to be there. She's going to do a keynote. And anyone that knows Rachel knows that she's a fantastic speaker. She's an accomplished guide, an accomplished hunter. I think she just killed another sheep this year, I heard. Is that true? She just got one recently, and I think she got another one this year.
Yeah, she got her first one last year. And then, it's a great hunt film that they put out on her first sheep that Sitka put out. So, there's our official sponsor, Sitka, doing what they do and showing us some great backcountry stuff. And then Rachel went out this year, and from as far as I can tell on social media, she hammered another one. So congratulations to her.
Well, and she is an accomplished outdoors woman. She's an inspiration, certainly in the industry, and someone I looked up to in terms of just as a hunter, let alone as a female hunter in our space. So really, really blessed that she's going to be part of our program. And then Blaine Culkins, who's the Conservative Hunting and Angling Chair. He's down in Ottawa fighting for hunters and anglers' rights in Canada, and Blaine's going to be out for the event as well, and he's going to say a few words. So it's going to be a great night. We're looking forward to it, and we'd love to see you there. Tickets are on sale on our website, wildsheepsociety.com. Click on the Beyond Bonds link on the homepage, and you'll get your tickets. We have a limited number of tickets, so get them done before it's too late, and it's going to be in Richmond, BC. Going to give away a whole bunch of prizes, and I think I promised anybody from out of province whiskey. So there's an added bonus for you too.
Yeah, but you put a cap on that in the other intro, 10. I believe.
10.
Oh,
that's all I'm buying.
10. Yeah, cheap bugger. No,
it's going to be the cheap whiskey from the liquor store in a brown bag in a plastic cup. Just kidding. I would never like that. So, So with that, I think we're going to go into the deep with Kyle
Crawford.
This episode is sponsored by our conservation partner, Frontiersman Gear. Thank you, Sitka Gear and Frontiersman Gear, for investing in healthy wildlife and sustainable ecosystems.
Hello, hello, Kyles. How's it going, boys?
I'm doing pretty good, thanks, Greg. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's a nice sunny day today. How about you, Mr. Stelter?
I think there's going to be some identity crisis issues here, but one thing I know about it is Kyle's a killer, and he's a heck of a filmmaker. So if you talk about killing or filmmaking, I'll know that I'm precluded from that. So I'm doing awesome, man, and just great to connect with, always with you, Greg, but to have Crawford on this this podcast and hear all about his escapades. I'm looking forward to hearing some stories today.
Yeah,
thanks, Kyle.
Mr. Crawford's kind of a humble guy, but he's a killer. There's no beating around that bush there. So you had a successful sheep hunt. Would it be a couple of years ago, and you might have submitted a little film to us? And what happened there? Did you win an award or something with us?
Yeah, there was the 2022 film festival, the Wild Sheep Society of BC. I entered that film festival, and apparently I won. That was pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's it was a great film. A lot of people enjoyed it, and I think it was a unanimous decision by our judges that said that's the one. You look like you put in a lot of work, and we're gonna want to dive into that one right away with you and talk about your hunt.
Okay,
So
cool.
Yeah, let's start with the basics here, and where were you? Give us a GPS location. Tell us exactly where that sheep was.
Yeah, I'll tell you exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's not hard to figure out that we're off the Alaska Highway somewhere. We had planned for about an 8-day, 9-day hunt and hiked in about 20 kilometers off the highway, trying to get my brother his first ram and my buddy his first ram. And somehow we managed to get a double header. I've never done that before. That was pretty special. And in the same spot, my dad got his ram in 2012, and I got my first ram in 2011 in the same basin. Luckily, it just all worked out that way. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's fantastic. That's always a great way to go about. Was that one of your kind of most memorable hunts then?
I would say second most. Just my first most memorable would be 2012 when I took my dad in and helped him get a ram. That was probably most special to me. He would have been 60 at the time. So
was that your dad's first ram?
Yeah, my dad's first and only ram. Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's a pretty good age to start sheep hunting, and getting your first ram is 60. So that's a pretty big accomplishment, eh?
Yeah, he didn't get into backpacking until a couple years before that. We did a couple mountain goat trips. He got me into hunting, but my brother and I got him into the backpacking hunting when he was about 58.
Oh, wow. Well, that's good. So you guys dragging him around, or is he dragging you around? Because I don't know, my old man kind of pushes me around the mountain sometimes.
Yeah, it goes both ways. Some days he's pushing, and other days we're pushing him up to see the next peak. So it just depends on the day and how much energy he's got.
Awesome. So yeah, if we can, let's dive into that the film you submitted in that hunt. I'd love to hear more about it. The film was only a short clip of what actually happened. So you're getting into the back country. Let's go from there.
Yeah.
Let's start.
I mean, it started off pretty hairy. About the first 3 hours into the hike, we got charged by a grizzly bear and her sow. It was more than a bluff charge. It came from behind us, and I was the only one who could get a rifle off the pack quickly with a quick release. And my buddy, I told him step to the side because I needed a firing lane. It was coming on the trail right behind us, and it was probably 15 feet from us, and I was putting pressure on the trigger just as my buddy did one of the hey bear, and it stopped dead in its tracks from that, just as I had half pressure on the trigger, and then it ran up into the mountainside with its cub, and never to be seen again. So that was pretty scary for the first 3 hours of the trip, and then we found a nice open spot along the creek bed to camp for the night, and we wanted to be able to see all around where we were camping, so nothing sneaking up on us.
Sorry, I guess I'm on mute and dumb.
Yeah, I couldn't hear you there.
So I guess a charge from a grizzly on the first few hours of a hunt kind of sets the tone, eh? Drags you into a little bit more
Yeah,
cautious, I guess.
gets the adrenaline going, gets the spidey senses up. I think my buddy was a little bit more worried, a little bit more than I was, but I kind of forgot about it by the next day. But still keeping in mind that they're around still. So yeah, I mean that was just the first night, first few hours, and the next day we kept hiking up the valley and didn't make it to our camp spot. It was still too far, and spent another night almost at our camp spot. Nothing eventful happened there, just sore feet and shoulders and backs. Next morning, as we headed up to our shale camp spot, is where on the film you would see my brother taking the rocks out of his pack. The night prior is when I put the rocks into his pack, or that morning when he was packing up. And he was pretty happy to see those rocks in there after that little 1,000-foot climb up the mountain. It was good.
I bet you was happy to get him out of his pack too.
Yeah, he said he was going to get me back, but he never did end up getting me back, so there was nothing there.
Well, I'm assuming he hasn't forgot about that moment.
No, he has a long memory just like I do, and we're very competitive, so I'm expecting something at some point down the road on one of our next trips.
Perfect. So you gained all that elevation. Do you just start out just doing the typical sit in the valley bottoms, glass in the mountains?
Yeah, so we set up our camp. That would have been by mid-morning, so, just after maybe a snack. Early afternoon, we headed up to the top and went to our first drainage and started glassing. Saw I believe, 2 ewes and a lamb that walked right by us, so it's always fun to see and up close when they come within 30 feet kind of thing. And we didn't see much else the rest of the day. It was already getting late in the day and we were beat down by the sun. There hadn't been a cloud in the sky the whole time. It was probably 25 degrees both days so far. Then we went back to camp, rested up, and the following day, I think, is the day we came into a whole bunch of rams. We hiked into another spot up and over a ridge and down a mountain ridge line, and came across, you know how it is. They come out of the woodwork. You see one, and then all of a sudden you see 2, then you see 4, then 5, and 6, and I don't know. We probably saw maybe 12-ish rams or something. They just came out of everywhere, and there was one that was looking pretty decent, and it was walking up towards us. So my brother and I headed down some rocks, and it ended up coming. If we were bow hunters, it was within bow range for sure. But it was a younger, I don't know, 5 or 6 year old, and it wasn't quite full curl either. But that was pretty cool to see. I've never been that close to a bigger ram, so to speak. Then it just buggered off, and we didn't find anything legal in that group, and couldn't get a good look at all of them because they disappear into the mountain. And we hiked back up to the top ridge, went down to the next drainage to check that one out. And sure enough, we found another group of rams, which is the one my brother ended up getting. We sat on them for probably 3 hours at 100, I think it was 122 yards, I think, if memory serves me. But it was so hot out, and the heat distortion was insane, even at 122 yards. Couldn't count rings, and just wanted to get that perfect look, the perpendicular look for the horns to cross the bridge of the nose. But after about 3 hours, we decided, between taking turns in the spotting scope and stuff, we all decided it was 100% well past full curl. So once it stood up after about the 3 hours, my brother took a shot and dropped it with the one shot, and that was his first ram.
That's well, you're making it sound a little easier than I bet it was.
Yeah, I mean, one of the worst parts was the heat. It was 25 degrees with not a cloud in the sky. And there's no shade on the top of the mountain. So the sun's just wearing you down every day, as well as you're not eating as much as you normally do and not drinking as much as you normally do. So everything just wears you down.
Yeah, definitely for folks that don't know, who haven't spent the time up in the mountains, and that heat takes you away. I don't know, Mr. Kyle or Mr. Stelter, I guess we should go. Got Kyle squared right now. He had quite the heated sheep hunt this year as well, and I'm sure he can attest to how difficult that is. But
yeah, I'd rather have.
You're,
Yeah, I was just going to say,
ahead.
I'd rather have the heat than pouring rain or fog. So it's not the worst weather that you could have.
Yeah, I'll agree with you on that. I had nothing but rain this year for 2 weeks, and was not enjoyable most of the time.
Yeah.
So when you're preparing for these sheep hunts, and I've seen some videos of you just basically running up and down mountains there. What do you do to physically prepare and mentally kind of prepare yourself for the physical demands of a backcountry high altitude hunt?
Yeah, usually I like to get out and do some hikes. I got out and did a few hikes with my pack on, probably 40 or 50 pounds in it. A bunch of times before that trip. I also have a home gym at my house, so I'm working out probably 5 days a week, I'd say. From treadmill boot camps to just weights to the bike, just a variety of things, runs. It's a whole kind of mix of different types of working out. And I do jiu-jitsu as well, so that's another different kind of physical aspect. So I stay active in a variety of ways in a whole bunch of different areas, and I find Bosu ball actually really increases your hiking ability, especially going downhill on a boulder with an 80 or 100 pound pack.
We lost Greg, it looks like there, but yeah, keep rolling. So, how long are you Is that just you keep that going year round, Kyle, or is that something you're doing kind of just as?
Yeah, I do the work. I do the working out year round, and then I'm a fair weather hiker, so I like to do the hiking when I can during the spring and summer. And I do as much as I can, but I got a 5-year-old and a 2.5-year-old and the wife, so family kind of comes first still. So I just get out when I can. How
significant is the jiu-jitsu part of it? Is that really helpful, or is it just kind of tons of benefits obviously, but does it help with your hunting and hiking?
I would say it would help with the cardio aspect of it. For sure, when you get to the rolling or sparring, that's quite a toll on your cardiovascular system. So it would help the cardio part of it for sure.
Yeah, awesome. So what are you doing in the wintertime then? Lots of, like you talk about fair weather hikes and stuff, so mostly in the home gym, jiu-jitsu training, that sort of stuff, or is there anything else that you do to, how do you keep your cardio up in the wintertime?
I'm actually grateful because I have good genetics passed along from my father and his grandfather. My cardio is actually really good without doing any cardio, so I'm kind of lucky that way, I guess, with the genetics. So, yeah.
Well, and it's apparently there's some longevity too there, because you talk about your dad doing his first sheep hunt in his 60s and getting his first ram. So, is he still managing to get up the mountain? Is he doing much hunting at all, or how does that look for him these days?
Yeah, Yeah, so when he was 65, yeah, this was 2017, we did another sheep hunt, and he got in there and stuff. We didn't get a ram that trip, but he went in and got out. And this year, excuse me, we were doing a fly-in out of Dees Lake just a month ago. So he was on that trip, but we were going to have a base camp from the lake and do day hunts off the lake. So it was going to be just day hikes basically, and make it a more comfortable experience because he's turning 71 in December. So but next year we're planning on another one.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome in his 70s, and he's still being able to get out there and do his stuff. Did you guys have any luck with caribou or moose or anything this year in your flying?
Yeah, so a bit of a long story short here. We were up in Dees Lake. The flight was delayed a couple days due to weather and a backlog of hunters. But I had a family situation come up at home, so we actually had to leave, and the hunt didn't actually happen. So yeah, it's just one of those things, right? Family first, and yeah, but look forward to the next one.
Yeah, awesome, man. And that's the thing is you miss a year like that, but what it does is it makes it extra special next year when you get in there and you end up getting a sheep or getting a caribou or something like that, right? It's pretty awesome. So
yeah, exactly. And we're kind of focusing on moose or caribou. We'd like to take a nice big moose. We haven't got one over 45 inches, but that's kind of a goal of ours, is maybe get one close to the 55, 60 mark. So we have a good area picked out for that.
yeah, right on. So do you guys kind of mix it up from year to year? Like I think that film that you did for us in the media festival one where you won the award, that was a hike in off the highway, right? It wasn't a fly in at all.
Yeah, that's right. That was off the highway.
Yeah.
And I don't know how we come up with what we do from year to year. We just decide. My brother has been hunting the same length of time as I have, and he had never got a ram before, and I was like, oh, let's try to get you a ram. And he's like, yeah, let's do it. And that's how kind of that came about. And then a buddy of mine wanted to tag along, and since I had 2 rams already by that point, they were up first before I was. So that's kind of how we work it out.
Right on. So let's touch a little bit on that. Do you find you like to go back to spots like hot spots for you, or do you kind of just kind of roll with the flow? Like, and I guess where that comes from is, my hunting partner and I, we don't always want to go in the same area. Maybe we get itchy feet after 5 or 6 years or something, but as a general rule, it's about the exploration. It's about the next ridge. It's about something new. So, we typically don't do the same hunt. I'm not saying we never hunt the same area over and over, because we do. I'd be lying if we didn't. But, we try and keep it a bit creative. Are you guys that same way, or how does that work?
A little bit. Not with the sheep hunting off the highway so much. We've only ventured into the same place.
Okay.
But with the fly-ins, we've gone to 2 different lakes. And we had a month ago, we were going to a 3rd lake that we hadn't been to before. So with we have another lake we've gone to as well. So it would have been 4 different lakes and fly-ins. So we venture around with the fly-ins a little bit more, as opposed to the sheep hunting so far. But in 2021, I did manage to get a sheep on one of the fly-ins as well. So I wouldn't call that a dedicated sheep hunt per se, but we were looking for sheep for the first bit of the trip, and I managed to get one. So awesome. The fly-ins are varied up a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, right on. So when you talk about the hunts that you've done, you talk your dad's got the 1 sheep, your brother's got a sheep. It sounds like you've got 3 now, or you've got 4?
I've got 2, and my brother and dad both have 1.
Okay, right on. So when you go now, are you taking a buddy trying to get him one? Are you trying to get your brother another one? How does that work when you guys are out in the field?
So if you don't have a sheep, you would be first up for a sheep kind of thing. And then if my brother and I were together, I would probably say I would be next because he got the last one, as I got one prior to that. So we just kind of try to make it as even as possible if we're all together, and whatever's fair.
Nice. Yeah, good for you. So obviously there's a huge focus on mountain hunting with you personally. What do you do later season? So post October 15th, you go chase anything else? You chasing whitetails, mule deer, or what do you do for the rest of the season?
Yeah, so October, it's not the same every year. Last year we had a moose limited entry at my uncle's cabin in the interior, and we managed to get a really nice moose on that trip. Other than that, it's just whatever kind of comes up that year, maybe just a short trip, 3-4 days, and usually be looking for mule deer or maybe stomping around looking for some bighorn sheep. Although I want to dive into that a little bit more and put more time and effort into that, but you need lots of time to do everything. And then November comes and we do an annual deer hunt every year, starting on November 21st when they open up in Region 5.
Awesome. So, we're really blessed here in BC, right? We've got the Mecca. You got everything from over-the-counter sheep and, sorry for those listeners out of state or province, but it's, we're blessed here, for no question about it. Do you have a bucket list animal in British Columbia that you haven't hunted, or a draw, or, you talked about bighorn, of course, but if you could go hunt and kill, any animal in British Columbia right now, what would you go hunting for?
Doll sheep.
Is that right?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Any reason in particular?
The LEH aren't. Well, yeah. Sorry. I would like a goal of mine is to get all 4 sheep in BC. Well, yeah, the Rocky Mountain and the California bighorn and the Doll sheep are the last ones. I'd like to get one of each from BC. That's a goal of mine.
Awesome. So obviously you're putting in for draws every year and that sort of stuff too, for bighorn, or are you just kind of thinking maybe general open and trying to do the Doll stuff now, or what's the plan with that?
Yeah. Well, I put in every year. I put in for that Kamloops tag, just hoping that I would get it. But it's not great odds for that one. Other than that, if I'm out for somewhere, I always have a tag, and it'd be general open season. And other than that, I've put in for Doll sheep a handful of times over the years. Never got drawn yet. So.
Yeah, fair. Okay, so broomed or lamb tips?
I like. You know what? I don't have a preference. I think they're all awesome. Yeah, I really do.
Yeah,
I really do.
Yeah. So your other 2 rams, or your 2 rams, what are they? Are they broomed or lamb tipped? What do they look like?
Yeah, the one's got one side, the right side I think is broomed off, and the left side, the lamb tip is there. That was my first sheep from 2011, and then the other one from 2021. The lamb tips are both there, and it's a full tight curl, and it comes up maybe 3 or 4 inches past the nose. It's quite a nice sheep. The cape on it's beautiful. It's almost pure white, and then to a dark gray. So it's a really nice looking sheep.
Awesome. Yeah. So no preferences either on cape, like so you see some of these stone sheep, they're just almost black, or they're like dark chocolate brown. They almost look like a bighorn, like a late season bighorn. And then on the flip side, you get you're almost Fannin type sheep. They're almost white as well. Do you have a preference?
Not until I got that sheep in 2021. Once it was pure white on the front, and really the contrast of the dark gray, it really stands out. It really looks beautiful. So that's kind of my preference ever since I saw that. I haven't seen a sheep that color before.
So now, hence the passion for a Doll sheep, right? It's like to get that white sheep is pretty impressive, hey?
Yeah. So I mean, I still have a bunch of years left in me to get the tag and get out there, but we'll just have to get drawn.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you put in for the early sheep season draw every year for Doll sheep, or you mix it up a bit?
No, I haven't. Not every year. Kind of because I know my dad won't be going on a trip like that, and so I want to be able to spend time with him on these other types of trips that I know he can do and he wants to do, just because he's the age and stuff, right? So he doesn't have many years left doing the fly-ins kind of thing or the harder type hunting trips. So I do want to focus on that while he still can.
Yeah, right on. Now, who's got bragging rights? Whose sheep's the biggest or scores the highest? Is it your dad's, yours, or your brother?
Well, it's going to be my first one, but we won't. Don't need to brag about it to them. But yeah, it's my first one. It's a pretty decent one.
Nice, awesome.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Like Greg said, you're a humble guy, so yeah, good on you, man. Congratulations. Let's talk a little bit about the filming aspect of it. So you've obviously, on your YouTube channel, there's just a litany of films. You've done a ton of stuff over the years, and you kind of have a film every year. What started that passion? Was it you just wanted to share that document your hunt, or kind of what's the background on that led to creating these films yearly?
Yeah, so I'm gonna say I'll rewind quite a few years. My mom and dad had always had a video camera videotaping our camping trips and stuff. So we have videos for the last, I think they got it when I was about 1 year old. So we have about 36 years of family camping trip videos from like an old 8mm cassette video recorder. And I've always liked that growing up and rewatching them. So I think that instilled a passion for videotaping trips. And then it kind of evolved into me videotaping the trips and essentially just putting together a little something for family and friends in the early days. And they're so much more terrible than they are now. They get a little bit better each year. But that's kind of how it started. I always liked to film it, and instead of just sitting there watching 3 or 4 hours of just footage that you take, it's the same over and over. I just began editing it down to 30 minutes to an hour, however long the trip is. That turns out to make it like a good film with like a beginning, middle, and an end kind of thing. And yeah, that's kind of where it all started from.
Yeah, right on. So somebody that wants to get into it, let's.
Oh, you got yourself muted there. I can't hear you.
We're on fire tonight, aren't we? Thanks, buddy. So when we talk about filming your hunts, right, and somebody wants to get into it, they've never filmed before and they want to get involved. What are some of the basics? What are the things that they want to be thinking about? And let's start with equipment. Like when you're selecting equipment now, and based on what you're seeing, obviously lightweight on a sheep hunt or a mountain hunt's important. What kind of stuff does someone want to look at, and how do they get started if they want to start filming their hunts to put something together? Because I've seen some pretty bad stuff, and I've seen some pretty amazing stuff too. So,
yeah, I mean, you just need to, in my opinion, have a camera that has some zoom on it, so you can zoom up and see things a little clearer that are a little farther away. And as the years progressed, I found that filming through the spotting scope with the phone adapter, you can really get some neat footage between the camera and then the phone, and then you can put it all into one. So as long as you have a phone and some sort of camera that zooms, I would say you're at the beginnings to be able to start to make a neat little video for yourself.
And then, like for you on a typical trip, how much footage will you take? You take 4 hours. I think you mentioned 3-4 hours. Is that kind of the average you'll take on a typical trip, and then distill it down into something that you can use?
Yeah, that's typical for me, somewhere between 3 to 4 hours. I mean, the longer the trip, usually I'll have a little bit more footage. And whenever I see a neat shot, I'm usually walking in front of everybody anyway. And then I'll see a neat shot, and I'll just quickly turn the camera on and record it, and then hope it turns out later on when I get home.
Yeah, right on. And then the editing aspect, what's your goal? Are you shooting for like a 30 to 45 minute film piece? I guess it depends on events and things happening, but What's your final product that you're aiming for?
Yeah, honestly, I never have a goal for the video or the film. I just film whatever I film out there, and then when I bring it back, I see what it turns into. I never have a goal. I just create it kind of authentically, and whatever's captured is captured, and that's what it is. And I don't add any extras to it other than, some music and cut it together.
Yeah, right on. And what kind of editing software are you using to put that stuff together, Kyle?
I use Final Cut Pro.
Okay. Yeah, right on.
Yeah.
So do you share your YouTube channel with people so they can check your stuff out, or is it kind of off the grid? Is it, can you share your location?
Yeah, I can, I share it. It's Into the Deep with Kyle Crawford, but I don't promote it or anything. It really boils down to I do it for the family and friends, and if anyone wants to watch it, they can, and if not, I don't really care. And then I heard about this film festival, and I decided to submit it, and here we are.
Right on. Do you have a submission for us this year, or are we going to have to wait till next year?
Probably we'll have to wait for next year, see what happens next year. Well, I'm doing something kind of cool in March, so going on a muskox hunt. So that's going to be something a little bit different, so I'll film that.
Oh, that's hilarious. As ironically, that was my next question. So when you're looking at sort of bucket list hunts that are outside the province, what's on that? So, obviously muskox is one of them. So talk a little bit about that. What's that all about? Where are you going? How does that look?
So a friend of mine lives in the Northwest Territories, and he drew a tag, so he invited me to come along. So I'm going to go for the experience and bring the video camera, and the first time ever, I will not bring a gun on a hunting trip. So it'll be interesting.
All right, on. So what's involved with that? Where are you flying into, and talk a little bit about the logistics on that hunt for you.
Yeah, I'll be flying into Yellowknife, and I don't know too much about it yet, but I do know it's going to be about a 6-hour snowmobile ride to wherever we're setting up our base camp. And the temperatures could be anywhere from -40 to a normal March temperature. It'll be in March, early March. So.
Okay. Yeah. And your buddy, is he an NWT resident?
Yes, he is.
Wow, there's not many of those NWT residents that are hunting in the NWT. I hear that the resident hunting pressure is almost nil, so he must be one of the few. Obviously, there's local sustenance and things like that, but or is he First Nations or Inuit, or what's his status?
No, he's a buddy of mine. He used to live in BC. Now he lives up there. Yeah, so he's working up there. So. And we got into hunting, or he started hunting with us probably in 2018, and we've been friends for about that long. So now he's got this tag, and here we go in March.
That's awesome. So it's all self done. I know a lot of I see these hunts all the time, but they're always guided. So I've never even heard of NWT resident doing it solo or on their own. So is it going to be a bunch of you guys, or just the two of you? How does that look?
Sounds like it's going to be the two of us, his girlfriend, and another friend. So there's no guides or anything. It's just going to be, we're doing it ourselves and going to figure it out and see what happens out on the ice. I guess it's going to be interesting.
Okay, you're taking your camera on this one, right?
Yeah, I will.
Okay, yeah. So this is definitely a good Into the Deep for us. I can't wait to see this. But you better have a submission for next year, buddy, for sure.
Yeah, we'll see. It's going to be quite interesting. I've never done anything like this before.
So let's talk a little bit about, obviously, we mentioned earlier BC being the mecca for anything, for the most part. But obviously there's some species that we don't have locally. If you could hunt out BC and you kind of had a bucket list item, what would be at the top of that list for you?
A hunt out of BC?
Yeah. So you can't hunt it in BC. So whatever that may be, maybe overseas, maybe internationally, maybe BC, or somewhere else in Canada, but just something that you can't get in British Columbia.
I would like to hunt sheep over in Nepal.
Right on.
That's what I would like to do. Yeah.
So what species specifically? You got something on the mind, and you're not too fussy?
No, I'm not too fussy. I just remember years ago watching one of the Jim Shockey videos. He was hunting in Nepal for sheep, and he was at about 17,000 feet above sea level, and I thought that was pretty cool, and I just want to do that.
So for you, is the allure the experience? Is it the animal? Is it the exoticness of the foreign country and the challenge there? Is there something specific that draws you to it, or is it it's the whole package?
I think it's the whole package, but I think experience is at the top of the list. I like having different experiences in life, and like this muskox is going to be a different experience, and then that would be something totally wild experience too, right? So it's just something totally different that you'll remember, and I'll bring the video camera if I ever get to it at some point down the road.
Yeah, right on. So let's move back to BC, and you think back of all your hunts and all your experiences. You mentioned obviously you had the grizzly charge you guys on this last hunt. Is there anything on the mountains where you thought, this is it, this is the end, or this is really dodgy? Or I've got some pretty scary experiences myself, and I've had a few bluff charges from grizzly, and I don't know if that's my scariest times, but what stands out for you as some of your scary moments in the mountains?
Probably in 2022, we were on a flying trip, and I tried to take my buddy up through this pass, and it was a huge rock slide. It happened however many years ago, and it was all little boulders and big boulders, and trying to walk up that, it got pretty sketchy where all the rocks and boulders started to slide down when you took a step, and you could look up the mountain for 100, 200 feet, you could see all the rocks sliding down towards you. So then you'd look, then you have to start running. And of course my buddy was sitting way at the bottom watching all this, and because I was going up first to see if it was okay. And then I got past it all, and I was thinking, that's dumb. That wasn't good. And we were trying to get over this pass to go look for sheep. And I thought, no, even if I find something, I don't want to shoot a sheep and pack it out back through this area. I'm turning around, I'm calling it. So turned around and didn't continue going that way. That freaked me out a little bit.
So did you end up coming back down the same way you went up?
There was a big snow patch in the middle, and I decided to go through that snow patch. So, and right on the edge, so it worked out okay.
Yeah, right on. So you talked about 35 years of filming with your family. They've taken all the video over the years. Is your dad that got you into the hunting? Is that how? And did he get you into mountain hunting from the start, or was that something you kind of found on your own?
Yeah, so he got me into hunting. He was hunting ever since he was a teenager, right? I could remember, I think one Halloween, I was young, probably 8 or 9. Him and his group came home from hunting, and they had 8 deer. They had 2 points and 3 points, but they had 8 deer between the 4 of them. Back in the day, where you could shoot a whole whack of deer. I just remember being so excited, waiting for him to come home, and so I grew up around it like that. But when I was 14, I got my hunting license and went on my first hunting trip for deer. It was an October long weekend, and within my first hour and a half, I shot spike mule deer, and my first hunting trip. So that was pretty special. My dad and uncle were both there at the time, and it was pretty cool.
Yeah, right on. So that wouldn't be kind of akin to the hardcore trips you're doing now in the mountains and these backpack, these hike-ins off the highway that are literally 2 days in and, like dozens of K. What started that for you? Is that something you found with a buddy on your own, or was that, again, your dad involved in that? Obviously, I know he wasn't there for your first sheep hunt, but how did that manifest itself?
Yeah, so we knew these guys through a little bit, I called them older at the time, but they probably would have been late 40s, maybe 50 at the time. They would always do sheep hunts almost every year, and we'd see pictures of it, and I always thought, that is so cool, like the scenery, the mountains, the sheep. I thought that was the coolest thing ever. So that started the drive to do the backpack hunting, was seeing those guys and hearing those stories. So when I was 24, that was when we did our first backpack hunt for mountain goat. We had a couple LEH tags, and we did that. That was the first time. That would have been 2010, and never looked back ever since.
So on that trip, did you go in with somebody, or like you mentioned, it was your first trip and you were with somebody, but was it somebody experienced, or you kind of find your own way and figured it out on your own?
No, it was find our own way, figure it out on our own. It was my brother and I and 2 other friends, and knowing nothing about mountain hunting at all, and having the worst gear and food that you could imagine, like just not packed properly, you just don't know what we're doing, right? So I think it was maybe a 5-day trip, but we ended up getting two goats. We went into a highly populated area, which was pretty cool.
Awesome. And then I think you said it was 2011 you killed your sheep, wasn't it? Or was it 12?
It was 2011. Yeah, you're right. So we did that hunt in 2010, and then the following year we went sheep hunting. My brother and I got my sheep, and that really solidified the backpack hunting. The second backpack trip when I got sheep, that was an amazing experience. I'll never forget how hard it was getting back to the truck. I think I collapsed at the truck for about 5 minutes and didn't move. And then it was a quick turnaround. Maybe 3 weeks later, we went back for another mountain goat hunt. And that was the first time my dad went on a backpack trip. So it was a good year.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Well, so is this a Kyle thing? Is it Kyle's just go out on their first sheep hunts and hammer sheep? Is that how this is working, guys? I'm doing something wrong. I got to change my name.
Well, the scary part too, Greg, is I killed my first sheep in 2011 as well, the same year. So
well, that's weird. Oh, Greg, you just need to go into the deep. So
yeah, I got to go into the deep. I'm go get my name changed to Kyle. I'm doing something wrong. I don't know what.
Well, it's not just going into the deep. It's going into the deep with Kyle Crawford. That's the ticket, buddy. So yeah. Into the deep doesn't work unless you're going with Kyle. Now, on that note, Kyle, obviously you've had, what do you call it? The supportive family. Your dad taught you to hunt, your uncle, and you were involved with that and that mentorship. But mountain hunting's a different animal, and I had a really strong mentor. I was really lucky in that regard. You kind of figured it out on your own, and I know there's a lot of young sheep hunters, a lot of less than oneers out there. What's kind of your advice for a new hunter that wants to get into mountain hunting? Maybe they've got some experience under their belt, but they're just like, because we get those questions. Guys call up and say, well, where do I go? How do I get started? And of course, my advice is come to our show, talk to sheep hunters. That's or just talk to a sheep hunter. And if you need a place to come to do that, come to one of our shows, because that's where sheep hunters hang out. But for you, what would you what would you tell a 24-year-old Kyle that wants to go on his first sheep hunt on what he would do and how to go about it?
My advice would be get some maps online, look at sheep density, population areas, and then start looking at your Google Earth or Fat Maps or whatever. Just do as much research. And I didn't have the luxury back when I started, but now you can go onto YouTube and search videos and find as many sheep hunting videos as you can. That's where I would start with to get into it, and then you just have to pick a spot. And my thought was when I started, obviously there was a lot of luck involved, but I thought, I feel like I'm gonna go as far as someone would go, but then go further. That's how I felt, that I thought at the time. It's probably not fully true, but that's what it felt like at the time. So that was my mindset going into my first sheep hunt, or even the backpacking for mountain goats.
Well, on that note, it's interesting that you say that, and I'm not a hardcore guy at all. I'm a wimp, to be honest, but and I'm certainly not in good shape. But what I will say is that if you pick a good area, right? You pick a good area where there's sheep, which I know you've done that because you yourself have talked about that, studying the maps, and so you you look at the densities, you're like, okay, there's good sheep here. I know there's sheep there. And then you go into a spot, and whether it's you fly in or you hike in or whatever you do, but it's always the next ridge over, right? So, if you fly into a lake and you get out and there's 4 parties there and you sit at the lake and you're hunting against 4 groups of other hunters, it's going to be really challenging. But you just start hike away from the lake, and if you can kind of figure out where the sheep might be, and that's the hard part, I get it, like, granted. But if you do that, it's always that next ridge where you got the chance of success, and that's always been kind of our mantra. And I'm not a Kevin Willis. I'm not going to try and pretend that I'm a really skilled or very dedicated hunter, or I guess decorated hunter is the word I'm looking for. But the successes I've had, it was always that next ridge over. Just go further. Just if you're in an area and there's sheep, just keep going, and then just get away from the people, and that's where you're going to find probably better successes.
Yeah, and even if there's no one on the lake, people have obviously been there before, so stuff has got shot around the lake. So our motto and our plan for every lake we've gone to so far has been, we land at the lake, and then we'll spike out somewhere away from the lake. So we'll be like 4, 8, 10, 12 kilometers away from the lake is where we would camp, and then we'd be able to do our day hunting from there, which extends your range a lot more. That's how we've been very successful on all our fly-ins that way, and I got my sheep in 2011 or 2021 that way, having spike camps and not hunting right from the lake.
Yeah, that's awesome advice. And and that's the thing too, is people think like, oh my goodness, like, I've talked to a couple buddies and they're like, yeah, we went 80K back. And you go, well, 80K back, that's not realistic. I'm like, well, yeah, you're right. It's not if you think you're going to do it in a day. But if you go on a 2-week hunt and you hike for 5 days, it's doable, right? It's and depending on the terrain and a whole bunch of other factors. It's kind of, it's about putting the time in and just one foot in front of the other. So yeah, really cool. Yeah, so that's interesting that now with you guys, a lot of, did you say with your sheep hunts they were fly-ins? Like some of them were, yeah, you mentioned your second ram was a fly-in trip, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a fly-in trip. There were 6 of us on the trip. We split up into 2 groups. And the group I was with, we spiked out, we were specifically looking for sheep for the first half of the trip. Before meeting the other guys for the moose and caribou part of the trip. But I wasn't up for shooting a sheep that trip. I had a tag, but I was trying to help get this other hunting partner of my dad's, who's around 55-ish, get his first sheep. And it just didn't work out for him. And then they climbed to the top of a mountain, and it was late in the afternoon, and then it was my buddy was up next to get a sheep, who was the same guy from the film festival video, my friend in that one. But I'm a little bit more nimble on my feet and a little quicker, I guess, and I just kept going up the mountain, and the daylight was getting lower, the sun was going down. I mean, there was only a couple hours left of daylight, and I'm like looking at this sheep. It was such a nice sheep. I'm like, we can't let this one get away, and it's bedded down at the top. So I ended up just kept going, and I got up there, and I ended up solo hunting it for the last hour and a half. I was by myself, and I ended up getting that sheep that with the white cape. So that was pretty cool too. Nice experience.
Did you have to spend the?
Yeah, that's.
Sorry, Greg. I just had one other question. Did you spend the night on the mountain, or did you get back to camp?
Yeah. So what I did, I've never done it before until then. I gutted the sheep, which you don't typically do. I got it and left it there on the top of the mountain because I didn't want to have to go down in the dark with any weight, or even down these boulders in the dark. So I left it on the top of the mountain, just went back to camp safely with no weight or anything. So, and then went back up the next day, which wasn't fun either, but did it anyway.
Was there anything on it? Any birds or any bear or anything like that?
No, nothing. The weather was terrible that trip. It was so cold. My buddy and I were processing the sheep wearing those thick Sitka gloves with the liners in them. It was the only way to keep our hands from freezing off, and you have not much dexterity for knives with those gloves, right? But they kept our hands warm, which was the only thing that really mattered at the time.
Yeah, awesome.
So that ram you're talking about, I've seen the pictures, and you're right on the top of that mountain. You're fully exposed. There's no brush, no nothing. You're just rock. Like that, I don't think you're selling the cold on that one, because you look at the pictures of you in that, you look cold. You can see the cold through the photo.
It was cold that day, but the next day it was so cold that we couldn't take photos or video. I didn't even bother. It was probably 100-kilometer-an-hour winds up there. Almost blew me off the mountain because I don't weigh very much. But and snow and hail. The conditions got worse from the ones in the photo even. It was so bad, like I said, no photos and no video that day. So.
Yeah, you said that was 2022? Or
that was 2021, that one. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we were actually not far. We flew in as well during the same time frame you got that sheep, and we were getting smashed with awful weather, and we weren't up on the top of the mountains. We were moose hunting. So
yeah.
It was, I feel for you, up on top of those mountains. That's a tough go. So you got your muskox hunt. Is that kind of the next one? You got anything else planned this fall?
I'm taking my 5-year-old to my uncle's cabin in about 10 days or so for just 3 days. Nothing serious, just get her out, have fun. She's never done anything like this with her before, but she loves hiking and she likes shooting a 22 or whatever. But get her out, maybe look for some grouse or something, drive around, do a little hiking, and then we have our annual deer hunt starting November 21st when Region 5 opens up for 4 Points.
Oh, awesome. Well, getting the 5-year-old out, there's nothing better than that. I don't know. I miss those days taking the kids out when they're little. Even now, it's still fun though. But the 5-year-old, everything's brand new. Everything's exciting. You shoot a couple of grouse and cook them on the fire. And, you're making those core memories with them.
Yeah, that's kind of the goal, and she's super excited right now, and she is telling her teacher at school and everything, and I don't know if they quite understand, but here's what it is. She's excited. Yeah,
well, no, that's good, especially if they're open to talk about it. You can make your own little ambassador for what we do, and it's a good feeling to raise them right.
Yeah, and my daughter has already said that she wants me to videotape it and make a movie out of it, and so she can watch it on the TV. So.
Uh-oh. There you go. Now you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Or maybe she'll start filming you. You'll be good.
Yeah.
A young Eva Shockey in the making, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, her name's Eve, so it's not far off from Eva. So.
Right on.
Awesome. Now, what's the next big trip for you after the muskox? What's the Kyle trip? What's your target? You flying in again next year, hiking in?
Hoping to. We're gonna try to, I think, do the trip that we didn't get to do this year. I think is kind of the loose talk right now. Give that a shot. Try to look for moose and caribou, and then if we get an animal or two, then try to help our other buddy get his first sheep.
Sounds like I need to be your buddy. We're just getting everybody sheep. Screw it.
Let's
go with Crawford here.
I've been told it's expensive to be my friend, so because they always ask what gear do they get, well, etc. And I said, well, I can tell you, it's just not going to be cheap, but it's good gear. So.
Well, no, it's good if you have a friend like you that's leading the charge and kind of helping others get into the backcountry, because you can get yourself into some pretty, well, be blunt about it, you can get yourself into some shitty situations if you don't have the right gear. People harp on guys that are spending way too much money. It's like, you know what, you spend the money on the gear, it's going to make your life a lot better while you're back there.
Yeah, especially when it's all in your backpack. If you're living out of your backpack, right? You need to have it compact and somewhat lightweight, and you need to be able to fit a lot in there. Especially if you're in the Alpine and it's, the third week of September, and you never know what kind of weather you're going to get, right? So.
Yeah, exactly. Prepare for the worst and hope for the best.
Yeah, exactly.
I got one for you.
Well, I don't know.
I got one more, Greg. So before we let you go, so we talked about gear and it's important. What's your, you're not going to be caught dead without your gear in the mountains, and gun doesn't count, rifle doesn't count, so throw that out, but anything else. If you're talking about, is it an inReach? Is it survival gear? What's the piece of kit that you will not leave home without?
I'm going to say it's the I can't even think of the name of it right now, but it's not an inReach, but it's a satellite device where you can make phone calls with and text message. It gets you an international phone number. I can't think of the name of it right now, but I mean, safety's first for me. So you need some sort of device that you need to hit. If you need to hit the SOS button, you need some sort of device.
Okay. Yeah, good call. And what's your luxury item? So I have one luxury item on a trip, and I want to hear what's your luxury item. What thing do you take that you don't need? Maybe it's clothing, maybe it's a camp piece, but what do you take that you don't need?
A backpacking chair.
Okay, yeah, same.
With a backrest. Yeah. A backpacking chair with a backrest. I have the Equinox.
Okay, yeah, I got the same.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay. Yeah. The backrest is important because I remember caping out animals, or after a long day hiking, just sitting down without a backrest just doesn't do it. Your back is still sore. Having that backrest, I think, is extremely important, and it makes your life much more comfortable.
It's bloody decadent when you're sitting on the top of the mountain. You're 20K from the fly-in or from camp, where you started out, and you're on top of a mountain and you got a chair and you sit down and your butt's dry. You can't, unless you've experienced it, you can't. Yeah, it's definitely a luxury item, but it's amazing. So I'm with you, man.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
It's a game changer. I'm with you guys on it as well. I
went
all out and I got the big Helinox, and people harp on me for taking it with me, but it's you know what? I don't even have to crawl off the ground when I get out of my chair. It's almost stand right up.
It's funny because a bunch of years ago on a sheep hunt, a different friend of mine didn't have one, and he kept asking me if he could sit in the chair. So and I let him. So
now that's bloody impressive that you actually let him. I'd be like, screw you, buddy. Well, and there's been so many times where you put the pack on, you're like, oh my god, I'm so heavy, and I'm like, I got to get rid of something. And you take the chair out, and you think, okay, I'm not taking the chair, but then your buddy takes his chair, and you're like, oh, I'm taking the chair. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 2 or 3 pounds or something, but it's worth it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I did a goat hunt once without a chair, and I was like, yeah, never again. Not happening.
Yeah.
Right on.
Well, I think we've eaten up enough of everybody's time on this lovely evening in late fall. So I want to thank you for your time, Kyle, and it's great listening to you. And congratulations on winning the media awards. And for those of you out there, don't forget to get your submissions in for our media festival. Photographers, films, writers, we want to see it, we want to hear it, we want to watch it, and we want you to win an award.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Greg and Kyle. I appreciate having the invite.
Awesome to see you, man, and good luck on your muskox hunt. And I want to hear about it, and if there's a story there, we'll have you back on and we'll talk muskox.
Sounds good.
All right. Good night.